Where should I look?
I don't know. Look at me. Look at the camera.
That wasn't what I was doing. I was like,
No, look at me or the camera.
oh, not both.
Not and. You're all like,
Okay, I'll try to control my shifty eyes. Go for it.
hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Theology, where we're going to be doing another Reddit portion of reacting to some stories. These ones might get a little risque and maybe a little gross. So, warning.
We'll see. Grab your deodorant, grab your soap bars, teeth brushes, all that kind of stuff. We're talking bad hygiene. So let's get into it. The first one I'm going to read because this is from a guy's perspective. So, am I the a-hole for pointing out my girlfriend's bad hygiene? I, male, 28 years old, have been with my girlfriend, female, 27 years old, for 7 months now, and went full exclusive 3 months ago. So they're in an exclusive relationship. She's everything, smart, kind, caring, and drop dead gorgeous to me. Awesome. Oh. However, she has the worst hygiene, has worse hygiene than a Neanderthal. Oh man, rough. She lives in a studio apartment, so it's small. Since starting dating her, I've avoided spending time there because it's always dirty. But I've never said anything because it's her place. She does not shower very often and has strong BO. Like, bad enough that we won't be intimate unless she has showered recently. That's the stipulation there. Here's where it gets bad. When she's on her lady time, and like 3 days ago this happened, and she was having a rough time. And So I called her and asked her to come stay at my place until she's feeling better. I can't cook and take care of her and allow her to rest if she's over there. She was to take a week off of work because she was feeling so bad. She came to my place and didn't bring any feminine hygiene products. I had to run to the store at 3 a.m. to get her stuff because she's been wearing the same pad for so long that it leaked on his bed. Ew. I didn't say anything as she was so stressed at the time. Next day, I came home from work and she left the pad from the previous night on the bathroom floor without even wrapping it. I was angry and called her out and said, "Hey, that's gross. I don't want to look at that while I use the bathroom." She got really mad at me and that I had called her gross. I clarified that having a period is not gross. It's a natural thing, but leaving a bloody pad on the floor of the bathroom
is not
of someone's home is really nasty. She lost it and said she made that I made her feel gross and bad. Was I the a-hole for calling her out on this? And then we will have an update, but why don't we talk about this real quick?
Yeah. What happens to, I don't know. Thinking about this, I think about people that do have poor hygiene and like, where does it come from? Because you think about, was it their parents just never taught them? Like, hey, you put your pad in the trash can and you change your pad more than one time a day. You know, it's just like you're supposed to change it every like few hours or whatever.
I can imagine a girl maybe growing up with like a single dad. Like, he's not gonna, I wouldn't know anything.
Like, by the way, honey, you need to
there's a lot of
change
like
your pad or whatever.
Things. Yeah, I think she also sounds a little bit like a scattered brain kind of person, because she knew she was on her lady time, and then she like goes to stay over at his place, didn't bring anything with it, and she's like, "Oh shoot, can you go?" And he's like, "It's 3 a.m. Okay, sure,
he's
I'll
just
go."
like, okay.
You know, yeah,
and she's still wearing the same pad, and he's like,
"Oh, that's really weird though." Yeah, so clearly he probably bought her more than one pad. So why was she wearing? Oh wait, no, she was wearing one.
It was the
when
one that she was already wearing.
Yeah, that's weird, man. Yeah, she sounds really scattered. Like, she doesn't.
Well, and maybe
do simple things to take care of herself.
Like, when I think about poor hygiene, it really makes me think about how that person kind of values themselves too. It's just like, someone with poor hygiene is because they kind of maybe either don't care about themselves very much enough to like, oh, I want to wash myself, you know, because it sounds like she also has like really bad BO and doesn't shower. And, you know, there are some people that are just kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. I think having a honest conversation. Here's one thing, real quick. Don't wait till you're as mad as you get before talking to somebody, because that always makes it worse. Like if you're like, oh, I just noticed something, I'm upset about that. Now I'm gonna go talk to them. It's like, hey, take them out, buy them ice cream. You know, like just be patient. Like rarely anything needs to be brought up right in the moment. So control your own emotions first. Wait until you're actually having a good time before you talk about something serious that you're upset about. That's something I've learned in marriage. But while we're talking about marriage, they're not married. So on the Christian perspective, that's another thing. It's like you haven't made a vow to this person. You know, you're living as though you are married. You know, obviously they are, you know, living in, you know, sleeping in the same bed. You know, they're living as though they're married, and that is a major issue because you know, you haven't made a covenant to this person. You're enjoying the fruits of marriage without the responsibility of like you know, lifelong faithfulness and all that kind of stuff. And so when you run into issues like this, she's like, hey, you're just some guy I met, you know, not like, oh, okay, you're my husband. I need to actually listen to what you have to say because your opinion is very important. It's just like, hey, you can't tell me how to like live my life.
Yeah.
You're just some random dude I hooked up with. So but there's bigger issues. So it's a sin to live with someone from a Christian perspective. You know, it's a sin to live with someone before you're married. So get the important things taken care of. Then these things hopefully will fall into place later on.
Yeah. And then you could be like, oh, honey, can you like.
But yeah, so.
And like I said, it's just like maybe she just didn't care about herself enough to want to take a shower or want to change her pad. Like I've heard of some girls where.
She could have some psychological things where, you know, maybe she. You can wallow in your misery kind of thing.
Wallow in your own filth.
Yeah. Because people, when they're really depressed, they don't take care of their body.
No, you don't care. You're like, I don't want to, you know, it's hard to do anything. It's like, I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to shower. I could get up and change my pad, but who cares, you know? Right. And like he said, it leaked onto his bed, which I'm all like, ugh.
Yeah. And it sounds like, so there's a couple things like I shower every day. And I do a manual labor job. So like as soon as I get home from work, I shower. And it's a nice like just routine as well. Yeah. I'm like literally filthy. But the other thing is like I'm frustrated with my own body because like I'll put on deodorant, hop out of the shower, put on deodorant, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm like, ugh. So like I understand that some people have a body that is like doing gross things, and you're like, I literally can't help this. I just got out of the shower. I shower every 10 minutes if you want, but you know, that's one thing, but it sounds like this isn't that. It's not like, oh, she's just extra stinky. You know, it's like, well, she's not showering out that often. And then she's also not taking care of herself very well. And then when she does take care of herself, she's like, oh, old pet, I'll just drop that on the floor. There we go. And it's like, that's weird.
That's why I'm like, I wonder what her upbringing was. Cause you know, you think about people that like my first thought too is just like people who may have grown up in like a hoarder home where there's just stuff everywhere. And so there isn't that like, it's that psychological, like, oh, I'm just going to throw this on the floor because it doesn't matter.
Right.
You don't realize that you're like in a clean space and you want to keep it clean. So there is that like, there is sometimes a psychological problem that comes along with like hygiene.
Yeah. Okay. Update. Update. Almost a month later. As many of you have pointed out, there was a lot more to this issue than simply her being a slob. She's now getting professional help. That's good for her mental issues and trauma and from her early childhood. Okay, that totally makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
She's been through enough to break any person. I'm grateful to those who suggested that her mental health be checked on. And also great that I didn't run from her like many were suggesting. Yeah, there's Reddit. There's going to be all sorts of suggestions here.
Get rid of that person. Cut them out of your life.
Yeah. A lot has improved. Hygiene-wise, she's doing amazing. Awesome. Aww. She, of course, needs some reminder and encouragement, but she gets things done. Awesome. And the relationship-wise, we are both happier. So that's great.
Aww.
There's one more update, though.
oh.
But that's really great. I mean, just talking about that real quick. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it sounds like she had trauma from her early childhood.
Yeah.
That can make a huge impact with
Yeah.
regular
So
stuff.
it sounds like, it wasn't just a like, oh, I want to be gross on purpose.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a thoughtless thing. It was like a mental, like she was depressed.
Yeah, she could have just grown up in like a grungy home, where they're all the children are brown, like just covered in head to toe in dirt, and they're just like, meh, no problem. And they're just like,
this is fine.
yeah. And then their daughter starts their lady time, and they're just like, oh, well, whatever. It's like,
We'll buy you some more underwear. You're like,
maybe
oh,
like
no.
her parents didn't buy pads for her. Like that's one thing. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Maybe she just
neglected her or something.
Yeah, I can see some people just didn't grow up with any help or any guidance on any of that stuff.
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be the problem. So that's awesome. I'm
Another
glad
update.
that was. New
That
update.
sounded really nice.
We broke up.
No.
It's over. She had a major meltdown one day and accused me of forcing her to go get help for things that she didn't want help for and accusing me of controlling her. She gave me an ultimatum, and I don't do ultimatums. Instead of calmly explaining her point, she told me, I'm sorry, let me state that. She gave me an ultimatum. I don't do ultimatums, instead of her just calmly explaining her point. So I told her goodbye and good luck, and she left and told me to go F myself. So, yikes.
That's sad.
That is really sad. I was so encouraged by that.
I know. I was like,
First
wow, she went and got help, and they like were working it out. And then he's just all like, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happens when you get help from the world. It doesn't last for very long.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm a little like confused at his like feelings on this. So she had a meltdown one day. And she's like accusing him. Like, I feel like that's pushback of like trauma coming back, like she was actually getting help. And then she was like, then there was a resurgence of like, she like, stiff armed, kind of the help. And then instead of him, it's just like, okay, so she had a meltdown one day. I don't know what that looked like, but it's like, he was just like, she gave him an ultimatum and he's just like, no way, you're out of here. It's like, I don't know, dude.
I wonder what that ultimatum was.
Yeah. So something about being like a husband, again, referring back to like marriage, is like, if your wife has a meltdown, guess what you don't get to do? Take a hike,
leave,
lady. You don't get to do that. You're just like, we're in a covenant, we're in a marriage. There's what's that word? I don't know. Just lifelong faithfulness, commitment. There, that's what I'm looking for. There's commitment there, and you don't just get to tell someone to take a hike if they.
Well, and it creates like comfort with each other because you're not always afraid that this person's just going to bail at any point.
Yeah. So I think
security.
Both of them are probably, I don't know. She should have recognized that help was a good thing,
Well, I'm
but
thinking
he
like
also should have had a little bit of understanding for her. Yes.
Well, it probably like started out really well, and then it became probably too much because, like I said, the world can only offer so much to where you're trying to do everything in your own strength. You're white knuckling into this, like, okay, I need to do this thing. And then it becomes a like, well, I don't even want to do this. It's your fault. I don't even need to change, kind of thing. It's like, this is what you want me to do. And it doesn't become an actual like heart transformation where it's just all like, Christ cares about me. He wants me to take a shower and to take care of myself. And that's why I'm doing it. But it can become twisted. And then it's like, everything's your fault. And then, because the trauma is not actually being dealt with.
That's a really good point. Yeah. There's a huge difference between what we would call, secular counseling and then actual like biblical counseling. Because, if you're working through, everything starts with your connection with God. So if you're separated from God, everything else, it will be on very thin ice and breaking down. But like if you rebuild your connection with the Lord, and then you're actually looking at not how you feel about yourself, but how God feels about you. If you're like, hey, God actually loves me. He loves every part of me. And so in order to come into just alignment with God's feelings for me, well, I'm going to treat my body better. I'm also going to treat everybody else better and remove the focus off of me and put it on other people. And then a lot of your problems go away if you're able to actually focus on other people's needs and not your own.
Everything comes
obviously
naturally.
you are going to take care of yourself as well, but that's going to happen naturally because your priority is other people and the Lord, and not just yourself. And so sometimes we can create problems because we're hyperfixated on ourselves, and you start, it's not the solution to anything really.
Yeah.
So that's really sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
What do the comments say?
Okay, so this person says, as a woman is not only gross, but unacceptable. You are not going to change her behavior. She's past caring for, man. If she allows you to see this before you're married, it'll continue and nothing will change after marriage and stuff.
Not without Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of sad though. It's just like, I don't know. To kind of consider someone else and be like, oh, they're just past caring for her. Yeah, she's not caring about anything. Just kick her to the curb. I mean, it's like, man, oh man.
Yeah, no, it's sad because it's like obviously we don't know what the trauma was.
Yeah,
but it sounds like it was a lot, and I think maybe he just couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
and there wasn't that covenant to keep him there.
Yeah,
so
I know he
even
recognizes like she's been through enough to break anybody. It's just like, come on, guys.
I know you could hear like the compassion in the first update, and then they're just all like, I'm over it in the last update.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, again, this is what I mean by like help from secular, worldly, just everything is inverted from what the scripture would say. So it's just like, it's time to prioritize your own sanity. If she's got no interest in reasonable self-improvement, then take care of yourself.
That's so rough. Like, it's like, sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's like on completely just, and it's like, okay, she did have the problem, but he did have the responsibility to be there for her. And if you're going to take on someone who's just like, again, you're trying to enjoy the fruits of marriage without the actual covenant that holds the marriage together.
And it isn't just like, oh, we're together and everything's perfect. It's just all like, it's investment. Relationships are investments. They're not like, oh, well, I'm out of here,
Yeah, exactly.
An investment, covenant, promise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everyone thinks they're ready to do that from the beginning, They're like, oh, I'll totally, I met this girl like 2 weeks ago. I'm totally there. Like, I'll be there for her whole life. And it's just like, you haven't gotten through anything hard yet.
Yeah.
How do you know?
One little problem comes up and everyone's just like, man, dump her.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. And then, so they do that. And then they split up. And then it's just like, oh, so you had sex with this woman, and for all this time, you guys were living as though you're married, and now you're split up, and that does not just go away. That relationship is going to cause wounds in both you and her.
Well, and that's why
now you have a broken
the breakups are so bitter and messy and so angry that it turns into this hatred for this person. It's because they invested this intimacy into someone when they weren't supposed to yet.
Yeah.
And it's just all like, it turns into nasty, nasty things.
Mm-hmm. Well,
next.
Okay.
Would I be the a-hole if I break up with my boyfriend because of his hygiene? I, 24 female, am too old for this. I am not a clean freak either. I met my boyfriend 6 months ago. He was a little hippie, which I didn't mind. So a little about him. He is a hardcore vegan. He is someone you can call an environmentalist. He's eating all of the environment, though. He thinks a lot.
Who's standing up for the plants?
Who's standing up for the plants? He thinks a lot about the environment. He only buys clothes from shops that are locally owned. He's a big on recycling things. He doesn't use toothpaste, but Meswak.
I have no idea what that is.
Something hippie, I'm sure.
This guy's a crunchy guy.
It's just wood. He's all
bamboo.
Yeah. He is also anti-shave, though he trims his beard. So ever since I was with him, I always had this hunch that he is not washing properly. Uh-oh. We do not live together. Good job. So I am not at his house more often. He always smells like spices, so I had no idea his hygiene was so bad
He was
until
covering it
now.
up with
He's all.
It's like cinnamon, just.
I know. He's just all like, I got the essence of the forest. It's like, but you have oak moss in your beard. He's like, I like it that way.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I noticed it. He's kind of had a funky bit of a smell. He doesn't have cleaning supplies in his house. I asked about it and he doesn't. Oh, and he said he doesn't use chemicals that will harm the environment. He uses vinegar and lemon to clean stuff. It was odd, but I get it. I let it slide, though it should have been my first red flag. Now I have come to the last straw. Last night, when I was at his place, I was using the bathroom. After I was done, I didn't see toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
This is one thing I used to be glad that he kept in his house, though I'm someone who prefers a bidet. I asked him to give me some toilet paper because he ran out. He told me he threw away all the toilet rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Because they clog the draining system and go to the ocean, which then causes toxicity in fishes. Plus, it wastes money to make toilet papers. I asked him then, what does he use to wipe himself?
Uh-oh.
He told me he switched to reusable toilet paper a month ago. He just uses these and throws them in the washing machine. I wanted to vomit there. I'm thinking about ending things because I cannot deal with this thing my entire life. Am I wrong?
No. You're not married. Like, you just started dating this guy. It sounds like you haven't gotten too terribly involved. You should just cut it.
I know. I think about it's just like if you don't like his lifestyle, then you can just because it's going to be like that more and more, as he weeds more stuff out of his life, like toilet paper.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, a bidet. She's just all like, a bidet would be great.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't even know what to say about that. Well,
I mean, my first thoughts is just all like, people have different lifestyles. Some people like to be crunchier than others.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
And that's fine. And it sounds like he isn't being too totally gross, really. Yeah. I mean,
what's that one girl? So we watched this YouTube, and it's a Crunchy Mom, is it?
Yeah, Crunchy
They're
Mom.
An awesome,
really very
loving,
crunchy.
Christian family, that kind of stuff. Yeah, really very country or whatever.
Yeah.
It was actually, so I think that's a healthy version of Crunchy. He's not as much, but she's just like, she's worried about like, the weird toxins that are in like a bunch of stuff. And so she does stuff because she's like, hey, I don't want my kids being around all these like toxins. And that's like normal.
She turned it into satire, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or it's the extreme and you're all like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she's got, she's kind of well-rounded.
Yeah.
But other people are not.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It sounds like he's just not conventionally as clean as maybe she would want him to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like there's some stuff that's like at this point for this guy, it's like an ideology, which he's just like coming up with his own like crazy schemes and stuff like that. That's a little different than someone who's just like, oh, I want to not have these toxins and that kind of stuff. It's like, there are soaps that don't have toxins that you can put on your body.
There doesn't mean you don't have to tons of soaps out there that don't have bad things for you in them.
Yeah, so there's no excuse for that.
There's also we live in an age where there is way more hippie products available.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
For people.
Yeah.
So
you got options. And the other thing that's like blatantly wrong is just like, oh, I don't use toilet paper because it makes its way, it goes clogs the drain system, goes into the ocean. That's not how it works. It goes to a water treatment plant. Yeah. They don't just flush all of our sewer into the ocean. That they may be at one point, but they don't do that anymore. Yeah. And so it's like that toilet paper, it also dissolves, in case you didn't know this. Yeah. And it's not like chock full of chemicals either. It's just regular, like toilet paper is not that bad. There's not like stuff in there that's gonna kill fish. It's wood pulp, guys.
Yeah. So. No, I'm kind of like, well, maybe the whole, his own toilet rags is okay. But I'm like, man, where are you putting those? Does he have like a wastebasket or something? Because I'm like, poop. There's poop. And he's like, I'm like, how are you cleaning the fecal matter? Because I'm like, vinegar only kills so much bacteria.
Yeah.
Because she was saying that
I will
he doesn't
dare to
have
say that all of the poop that he is leaving on his reusable rags and washing. See, that's the one different thing about gray water, which is sink water and all that kind of stuff, and sewer water. Those go to different places. So he's probably killing the fish with his poop that is flowing just into the ocean in the gray water, which you're not supposed to do that.
I'm wondering, I'm like, he sounds like a guy, like, does he even have a washing machine? Is he doing it by hand?
Yeah. What are those old washboards?
I know, he's all, and I'm all like, I was just thinking, poop! You know, like, sometimes I think about, you know, reusable diapers. And I'm all like, oh, yeah, maybe I'm like, poop!
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Like, it's poop. Ah! Like, I thought about the whole, like, you know, not the reusable toilet paper. That's gross. But, like, maybe reusable paper towels. But I'm like, there's so many things I clean up that are so nasty. You just want to throw it away. Like cat vomit, poop, you know, like all of this stuff. And it's just like, I don't want to bundle that up and place it in my washing machine. It's like, ew.
Yeah. That's a no-go for me. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. So she should probably. It sounds like the ideology is just too far distant here.
Yeah, it sounds like he needs to find a hippier gal who's probably doing all the same things he is.
Yeah, because it literally touches, I think, like every area of life too. Because you're living with someone.
Well, they're not living together.
No. I mean, if they got married, like, for future, she's trying to make a decision here. Should I pursue a relationship or should I break it off now? And I'm like, you're going to be sharing a home. There are so many items in your home that he's going to object to, and you're going to be like, these are my creature comforts, you know?
She's going to be like, oh, you want some Doritos? He's like, no.
Well, Doritos will kill you.
Yeah, well, you know, because he's also vegan. So I'm all like, realize.
If she's not vegan, that is a huge thing. You can't eat together. You can't eat together. You can't do anything together.
The meal situation would be pretty rough because, you know, he's just all like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just imagining this judgmental hippie. So like, you really shouldn't be eating meat or whatever. And, like, people are allowed to be vegan or vegetarian, and there's nothing really wrong with that. What's wrong is when they judge other people and they're like, I'm better than you because I don't eat meat. It's just like, dude, if you want your lifestyle, have it over there. But
there's a simple, again, just Christian thing. There's a simple thing that's a principle in the Bible. It talks about being equally yoked, like the long piece of wood between two oxen that pull a cart, that kind of yoke. And so that was, it says, don't be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. So if you're a Christian, because that's the most foundational building block of your marriage is your common faith. So if you believe in the Lord and someone else is like, oh yeah, I'm like a Satanist, like that would be like a polar opposite. And it's like, don't get married. You're forbidden from getting married to someone like that because you guys are pulling in two different directions. You're not two oxen pulling in the same direction with a yoke together. You're trying to pull in different areas. So don't put a yoke on those two people.
One of those yokes is not using toilet paper.
Yeah. Okay. So now shifting it over to just even if they're neither of them have any spirituality, just two people who are polar opposites. Like one person's like, oh, I want kids, I want to be a stay-at-home wife, and I want to stay in one spot, my entire life and raise our family in this one house that'll be in our family for generations. And then another person's like, I want to be no kids, double income, no kids. Yeah. And then I want to travel and I want to, I definitely don't want to live here. It's like those people are not compatible whatsoever.
And you shouldn't try. No. Because if you're always hoping the other person is going to change their mind, you're going to end up really disappointed and really hurt. Because it's like, well, maybe, but like, if your mindsets are just not there.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like she'll just be miserable, so she probably should just break it off now.
Yep. time to leave that guy.
Yeah. What are the comments say?
So 6 months. I wouldn't have lasted 6 weeks. Nah. Hygiene is a deal breaker for me. Girl, what you thinking?
Girl, what you thinking?
Man.
That's awesome. Next. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband if he forces his daughter to go to school with poor hygiene as punishment, I will divorce him? 41 female, have a daughter, 10-year-old female from a previous relationship, and my husband, 35 male, has a daughter, 13 female from a previous relationship. My stepdaughter has been the near perfect child for a long time. She hasn't ever needed to be punished since I've been with her father. Until recently, she had a problem with another girl, 13 female, at school. The other girl made fun of my stepdaughter's lesbian mom, and my stepdaughter made fun of the other girl's poor mom. The parents of the other girl grounded her for 3 weeks. My husband wanted his daughter's punishment to match the crime. Since his daughter made fun of the other daughter's financial situation, my husband wants his daughter to feel like how it is to be extremely poor. The other family isn't extremely poor, by the way. His plan for his daughter is to go to school with poor hygiene for 3 days. No shower, no deodorant, no brushing of teeth, and reused clothes. I told him if he goes through with this plan, I will divorce him. Am I the a-hole?
Man, that's
First of all,
what is going on?
that's like... It's always divorce. It's always the extreme over something. It's like, that's no. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it sounds like her stepdaughter, his actual daughter, made fun of someone's mom for being poor. And he wants to punish her by making her extremely poor. By not letting her shower or use deodorant and have to wear the same clothes.
Okay. So, well, that's not right. I think there are different methods of doing that. Like, it's good for, he had a good thought. It's just like, okay, you made fun of someone for being poor. That's very wrong.
Yeah.
You know? So what we're going to do is, you should know what it's like to actually be poor because you're making fun of someone for something they can't help.
Yeah.
Now that's good. It's not good to be like, I'm withholding showers and toothpaste and, or no brushing your teeth, no deodorant and reused clothes. Well, I don't know what reused clothes are. Like go buy other clothes because her clothes are too nice. I don't know.
No, reuse clothes.
Oh, as in she can't wash them.
She can't wear the same outfit.
Yeah.
But she has to wear the same outfit.
Yeah. Okay. So, see, this is how trauma happens. And the first person that we talked about who has a hard time using
this is her story.
Yeah, it might be. Okay.
Traumatized.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay, where would you start? How would you diagnose?
Okay, first of all,
what should the husband do instead of what he's doing?
I think he kind of had like a okay idea, but it went a little extreme, kind of like what you were talking on. I'm trying to think of what would actually be a good. You know what? I'd make her go help out at a soup kitchen.
Absolutely, I'm 100%. That's what I was thinking, but
yeah,
okay.
Because I was like, you can't really like create a poor environment for her. She's just like, my parents are just like, punishing me. Instead, it's just all like, kind of teaching her compassion instead.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not everything is about you.
It came to mind that usually when we have prejudice of any kind against somebody else, it's because we actually, it's born out of ignorance. We don't know that person. So if you don't like poor people, it's because you probably don't have a poor friend. If you had a poor friend, then you'd be like, oh, yeah, they're actually a really decent person, and I've been really a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
If you're an old crusty white guy and you hate black people, you probably don't have any black friends. If you go out and get a black friend, well, maybe you wouldn't not like black people that much, or whatever it is. I mean, if you're usually when you have intimacy with someone through conversation and all this kind of stuff, walls break down.
Yeah.
And prejudices break down,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Be like, you know what? You said some things that was very concerning to me, daughter of mine. You know, what we're actually going to do is, as a family, we're going to go volunteer, and you have one job: make a friend with someone there.
Yeah.
And then you go there, and then throughout the course of
build their
doing that,
understanding, because maybe then she'll be like, oh, you know what? I didn't.
Yeah. And
I mean,
I
if
would
she's
probably
somewhat impressionable too, I think
Yeah.
she would, actually form the thoughts and be like, oh, you know what? That was really lame, and I should have more compassion.
Yeah. And to be on that, I would probably do something really uncomfortable with that she would think is really uncomfortable. Now, this is what he was doing was a bad direction to fix what she had
an
done.
extreme.
It did nothing. It helped nobody.
No, it didn't. It wouldn't actually. Yeah.
But if you said something, then you need to, as uncomfortable as it is, go and apologize. So I would make her go apologize to the other girl. Be like, hey, I said some stuff about your mom. I'm really sorry. And then if her mom had heard about it, then I would make her go apologize to the mothers. Like, hey, I said some things to your daughter. I'm really sorry about that. I don't think that way. Please forgive me. And that's all it takes. Real easy. It'd be really uncomfortable, but it would mend bridges like nobody's business. She'd probably end up being friends with her.
Yeah, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, when you apologize, wonderful things happen.
It's true. Update. My stepdaughter is safe. My daughter is safe. I'm safe. And I will divorce my husband. I don't think I should share too much.
Whoa.
Bro.
Sounds like...
Was there more going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it sounds like there's more going on. She's like, I won't share too much. So it sounds like they got in a fight about it. Wow.
Yeah, that's weird to me. First of all, for her to even suggest divorce over something like that, I'm like, why isn't that just a discussion thing?
Yeah.
It's just all like, oh, you know what? I think that decision of discipline isn't a good idea. Let's do something maybe like this.
Yeah.
But it's just all like, we're safe. I'm divorcing him. It's like, what? What happened?
What did he do? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Huh. Okay. Well, before we get into the comments, though, let's talk about, husband and wife. What should she have done? Like you already said, she brought up divorce when that was totally not what should have.
The situation was here, and she brought it here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, crazy. One thing I want to bring up about divorce, because it seems like in Reddit, the most commonly used threat apparently is divorce.
Dude.
Yeah.
Something didn't go my way. Should I divorce him?
Yeah, exactly. He spilled my drink. Should I divorce him?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Sheesh. So one thing, just practically, and if you're married, please hear me on this. Don't let divorce come up in your conversation. Me and Lilac have early on, we talked about that, and we were like, let's never even use that as a joke, because it can be funny. You could be like, you stole my spot. You know what? If you keep doing this, I'm gonna divorce you.
I know.
There can be funny jokes with that, but we even cut that off. We're like, absolutely no joking about divorce. No, certainly no threats about divorce.
Don't even bring it up.
Don't bring it up. Don't even prolong it in your thinking. Don't even think about it. You're literally needing to control your mind when you're frustrated with someone, because those thoughts can worm their way in and wreak havoc on your personal thought life and your marriage and your relationship and your intimacy and all that kind of stuff. And I've literally talked to people who are they're like, oh man, it just I think about divorce, and it's just don't you realize that this is a threat that you need to remove?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of interesting, because humor is kind of the first thoughts of you joke about how you're actually feeling about something, where it's oh, like a passive aggressive joke. Yeah. It's the same with the divorce, where it's just all I should divorce you. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. And then later you're like, It's like that's how it like starts, and then you like have it come out, and then
you're opening up a little window to get a glimpse of what's actually in there. So, so you want to read some comments?
Yeah. Poor people do wash. People who live in shelters shower. People who live in cars shower at the gym.
It's the one that was right up there. It's like, my mother grew up super poor. Her mother raised her saying, no matter how poor you are, soap is cheap. That's true.
I know. I'm like, there's soap at the dollar store.
OP, the original poster's husband, is disgusting, thinking that poor equals dirty. That's very true.
So it's so interesting that like this is what the world's takeaway was. They hyper focused in on the husband and how he was disgusting because he wanted his daughter to be dirty, and then they like totally villainized him. It's just like we didn't even get all of the we didn't get everything. This is a very somewhat biased story. Because it's only one-sided. We didn't hear his side. Maybe it was just all like, maybe it was in passing. Maybe it was a joke. And she was just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows what it was blown up to.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm thinking if you're threatening divorce, you were already thinking about it. Kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's like, it was already on your mind.
Yeah.
This situation had nothing to do with that because it doesn't match the level of the... what's going on.
I'm kind of reading between whatever the lines. Is that expression?
Reading between the lines.
Oh, between the lines. Okay.
Behind these lines, there's something.
Yeah, whatever. 3D lines. Okay. And then, so I'm kind of reading between the lines on this because I immediately recognized he saw something that his daughter did that was wrong, and he wanted to be like, I identify what the problem is here. She's not relating with this other girl, so she insulted this other girl, and I want to bring some perspective to where she realizes that that's not a situation you should insult someone for because they can't help it. So like he recognized the problem correctly, and I'm almost 100% on his side, except for what he then chose to do.
Yeah.
That's
but then
where
everyone
the problem
changed
was.
it into, his view of poor people was that they're dirty and gross.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, I don't think that's what his initial thoughts were. He was just all like, I think his heart was in the right place a little bit, where he's just all like, well, what's it like to be poor?
Yeah.
Like,
and what did his daughter say too? Because that could have come, what he chose to do could have come from what she was accusing the other. She's just like, that other girl, like her clothes are disgusting.
She's poor. Yeah.
And she stinks. And then like, she's got yellow teeth and she's
Yeah.
poor. And so he's just like, okay, no brushing your teeth, no shower, and no washing your clothes.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Because I mean, like, yeah, some people are poor and still can afford to be clean, but some people are poor and don't care to be clean because they're also like, they can be under influences of other things. Kind of talked about in the last story with the girl with the trauma. It's just all like I feel like she just didn't grow up with that like taught to her. It's just like, this is how you wash yourself. This is how you take care of yourself. Some people don't have moms and dads to be like, you need to wash yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we don't have all of the story.
Yeah, this one little comment actually is kind of sad. I was reading. I'm like,
it's
really short, but it's like, I had students who lived in shelters and would take extra food from school home for their parents. And then they were just like, none of them were dirty. And so this is like, it's really true. I mean, think about how, and then I was just thinking about that situation. Maybe they're in the cafeteria and then the girl's taking extra food, and then so you're going to ridicule someone for that. That's like really bad character on the daughter's part. But,
which is why you would kick her butt into the soup kitchen.
Yeah.
And be like, you are going to serve these people.
Absolutely. Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's great. That's really sad.
And by the way, I did grow up poor, so I do. I'm not biased and like, poor people are dirty and stuff. No, I've gone to the food bank.
I had a silver spoon. I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. So Actually, I was.
I was all like, no, you weren't.
No, my parents have always been high income, high debt, if that makes any sense. So
Nice.
I never wanted for anything. My parents were awesome. But they also put everything on credit cards. So they weren't really
We're going to take care of our children and be in debt for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Oops. Anyway, but
Well,
they were
nobody,
great to us.
your mom didn't have parents to
Who
tell
taught
her
how to manage debt.
how to manage her finances.
Yeah, she grew up in a foster care system. So yeah, it was really sad. You have to figure out a lot of things by yourself, and nobody can figure out everything for themselves. So
Yeah. My heart goes out to the people is like they don't have somebody to help them or to tell them stuff, and then you have people making fun of them. It's just
I know. So, brief recap. The husband was a jerk, like the article is saying. For being really dumb on how to explain to his daughter to correct his daughter, you know.
Yeah.
So granted, it was extreme. It was poorly aimed. The mother is a hole for divorcing her husband. Just from our perspective, it's like whatever had happened here, that
did
would
not warrant divorce.
Yeah. And just real quick on the husband's side, your wife is there to curb your
Extremeness.
your extremeness. Like I all the time have like, hey babe, I have this idea. Let's do this. And you're like, oh, you're so sweet. Absolutely not. We're not going to do that. And because like
no.
I'm like with our future children, I want to make sure that they grow up to be godly, young women and young men. And let's do these wild ideas to make that happen. And you're like, absolutely not, stupid. So, but if you were walking around threatening divorce every time I had a stupid idea, then
That's wild to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not like, that's your first reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sorry, honey, they didn't have milk. I wasn't able to pick it up. And you're just like, my husband didn't pick up milk, divorce time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, every argument, every time.
Yeah. It is just ironic to me that she recognized extreme behavior in her husband and she herself then reacted way too extremely. It's just like point the finger at yourself, like hold up a mirror.
Yeah.
You're just as extreme as your husband is, just in a slightly different direction.
I know. I was just like, if you do this to your daughter, it's over. It's just like way to escalate what's going on that doesn't match anything else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyways.
Well, there it is. Okay.
Next.
What do you guys think, everybody? Are we too extreme? We might be
Are
too
we
extreme.
too extreme?
Yeah.
Too extreme.
All right, here we go, everybody.
All right,
Number
next.
4.
Am I overreacting for throwing out all of our soap after finding out how my boyfriend actually washes himself? So I, 26 female, don't even know how to start this without gagging. This happened earlier this week, and I'm still going through waves of disgust and disbelief. My boyfriend, 28 male, and I have been together for about a year now. We recently moved in together. And about 3 months ago, before that, we'd spent weekends together, but I never really paid much attention to how he showered. I guess I just assumed he was like everyone else. Soap, loofah, washcloth, maybe body wash, maybe even one of those fancy shower puffs, normal hygiene. What?
I hate those things. Those little
Loofah, puffy.
like mesh fabric things.
Yeah, they're fun to touch, but I
don't like.
I don't know. I just think
texture.
about all of the bacteria that's growing in them.
No,
and
thank
you're
you.
rubbing it all over you. I'm like, oh. But how I was wrong.
Oh my goodness.
So around this Monday, he had been feeling sick the night before. Some bad food, he said. I woke up to him rushing to the bathroom. Poor guy had a bad case of diarrhea. No big deal. He took a shower afterward, and I didn't think twice about it. I showered earlier that morning, and by the time he was done, I was already half asleep, so I didn't go in there again. The next morning, I got up to take my shower. I picked up the shared bar of soap and saw boo-boo chunks on it. His boo-boo chunks on it! I gagged so hard, I almost threw up. I dropped the soap immediately, turned off the water, and just stood there trying to process what the heck I was looking at. When I finally called him over, I asked him what the heck happened to the soap. He looked confused. I explained what I saw, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I took a shower last night after I went to the bathroom. I probably didn't rinse the soap off right." Dude, what? And then that's when I learned something that made me question everything about this man. He doesn't use a washcloth or a loofah or a body brush or even his hands in a lathering way. He literally takes the bar of soap, wets himself with the shower hose, and rubs the bar directly all over his body from head to toe, including his armpits and his butt. And apparently after having diarrhea. I didn't even know what to say. I just stood there, horrified, replaying every single time I'd use that same bar of soap on my own loofah or washcloth. So the next day, my first thought was to throw away every bar of soap we had, and both of shared leaving just my body washes. When he saw me doing this, he got defensive. He asked why I was overreacting and said I was making a big deal out of nothing. I told him I wasn't comfortable sharing soap anymore because now that I know what he's been doing, it's just nasty. I didn't shame him. I just said, I didn't realize that's how you washed, and I can't share a bar like that again. He got quiet and said,
"So you think I'm dirty?"
I told him no, but that his method is unsanitary, which, I mean, come on, it's objectively gross, especially if you're using the same bar that touches your booty hole and private parts. Then it sits there collecting whatever didn't rinse off. He storms out, and a few hours later, I got a call from his sister asking me why I embarrassed him and made him feel like a disgusting person. Apparently, he told his family about it. His mom texted me something like,
"It's kind of not going to make you feel any better."
I know. His mom texted me something like, "Men have been using bars of soap for generations. You're making it sound filthy." And am I insane for thinking this is different, though? Like, yes, people use bar soap, but most people don't literally rub it between their cheeks and then put it back for someone else to use. Now he's been giving me the cold shoulder, and his family thinks I'm some germ-obsessed neat freak who humiliated him over a piece of soap. So for second opinions, am I overreacting about this or not?
Whoa.
That's just really funny. Boo-boo
Dude, that was the
chunks.
best part. Boo-boo chunks.
I'm
That
like,
is
ew.
awesome.
Can you imagine how horrifying it would be to grab a bar of soap and there's
all
poop on it? Poop!
Oh my gosh, that
Oh,
was
man.
awesome. That
That's-
was well worth it.
That was really funny.
Okay, so how to digest this? Well, that's gross. However, when you're thinking about it, so like one thing I used to do when I was a kid that my mom taught me to do was take a bar of soap, wrap a washcloth over it, and then you scrub it, and then you use that. You just like you have the bar of soap in there,
Around
and
the
you're
washcloth, yeah.
and you rub it all over. In all honesty, like it's kind of the same thing to where the washcloth is like this thin, you know, and there's soap on the inside, and then if you are rubbing that literally all over, I mean, you're rubbing it on your booty, like
Yeah.
it's literally
You're not leaving
touching.
anything behind.
No, but she got so like freaked out about it that she's just like, so if he was rinsing it off, like, it's like, okay, that's gross.
Yes.
But it's also like
It's soap. It's clean.
it is soap if it's antibacterial, and he rinses it off. Then she took all of the rinsed, like clean bars of soap and threw them away. I think that is like, okay, you are like probably like OCD about germs then, because if you're throwing away antibacterial soap because it's
I mean, I could just kind of see how she just like got the ick where she was just
I
all
kinda
like,
get that, I guess.
"You've been doing what with our soap?" Like to her, in her mind, she was just all like, "Oh, he's using the soap as I do."
Yeah,
And then she realizes he's not, and then she's just like,
yeah.
And she like thinks about it, and she thinks about the boo-boo chunks, and it's just
so
all
like,
oh
yeah, I don't
know.
I don't use washcloths. I use my hands. My hands are so rough; they're practically like washcloths.
Yeah. Well, it's like
so,
he
like,
was saying, it's like he didn't even use his hands.
I soap up everywhere, you know. So it's like, technically speaking, taking a bar of soap and, even though it's weird, putting it up your booty hole to clean it, and then rinsing it and then putting it back is not really any different than you using your hand to literally wash every part of your body, and then you know you wash your hands. I mean, it's not really,
I don't know.
I
can't get with that. I'm like, I'm kind of like,
just
with
that
her.
It's so weird that nobody else probably does. Maybe you do that. Do people do this other than this guy?
Well, I'm like, he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't rinse it off right. And it's just like, once you can't go back from that. You'll always just see the boo-boo chunks when you go to grab the bar of soap.
That's the horrifying
so
part.
She's just
it's not
traumatized.
that it was extra dirty or unhygienic to do that with a bar of soap and then wash the bar of soap off.
Yeah.
It would be similar to if you like wiped with your hand or something and then you had poop on your hand and you're like, oh man, I'm sorry, I forgot to like wash it off right. That would be horrifying. You're like, I can't look at your hand the same way. It had poop on it while it was touching my face.
Oh my god.
So yeah, okay, wow, okay, that's crazy. What should the girl have done?
She should. Okay, well, I kind of think about.
You would have thrown all the soap away, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
well, the
fair
thing is like, I just think about, how different men and women are, especially when it comes to that. There's kind of like this fastidiousness to where women is just like, oh, and then I use this, and then I do
I
that.
put the soap onto my loofah, then I use my loofah, and I clean me, and then I,
yeah, and like, men and women are different, and how they do things. There's a little bit more like detailedness to it, where a woman's just like, oh, and I take my soap and I, lather it up and I put it on my loofah and then I clean my body. And then a guy's just like, soap. Like even the way, like how I put my,
she got me skincare products for my
moisturizer.
face.
Yeah.
And she goes like, doink. Doink,
I know, like
doink,
dab,
doink,
dab.
doink,
And then I'm
doink,
like,
doink. And then you go like, do, 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 do. And then me, I go.
He's like, I'm just like, he's all,
and I don't care if I get it in my beard because after I'm done, I get the general area and then I take my towel that I dried off with and then I go like this and then it just kind of rubs it all in. Like I think
horrifying
that's normal.
To all the skin routine girlies out there that are just all like, oh, you do what? You rub a dirty, grimy towel on your skin after you moisturize it?
Okay, talking about hygiene though. So I have a difference of opinion because I will, let's say I get home and, or let's say I'm just like hanging out on a weekend and then I will put on a shirt. And then we'll be like, hey, we should take a shower. And then 15 minutes later, I'll take off that shirt that I just put on. And then we'll take a shower. And then I'll get out of the shower and start putting on my shirt that I had just worn 15 minutes.
It's dirty.
And she's like, no, that's dirty. That'll give you back sits. And I'm like, what? No. This is a clean
doesn't have
shirt.
back sits?
Whatever. This is a clean shirt that I only wore for 15 minutes before I took a shower. Weigh in, please, because like I
come on,
feel
comment
like
section.
totally
let us know. Is the shirt
long-standing
dirty or is it not dirty?
Yes. So please weigh in because I need some justification over here. Anyway, I get him. I think it is weird and gross, and his family stuck by him. They were like, "Hey, this is normal." His sister and his mom.
I kind of actually wanted to talk about that. It kind of like, I don't know, the dynamic's interesting because there was this, she probably overreacted a little bit because boo-boo chunks. And then she's just like, oh my gosh. And then he started to feel bad when maybe he shouldn't have felt that bad. Yeah. But then he went kind of
To
to
his
like,
mom and his sister?
yeah, he ran to his
Weird.
mommy and his sister and was like, she made me feel bad because I left boo-boo chunks
First
on
of all,
the
if you feel
soap in the shower.
If you feel embarrassed, why on earth would you go and tell that to other people? I'd take that secret to the grave. I'd be like, please don't tell anyone else that I left boo-boo chunks because I feel really bad about it now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I
wouldn't
think
be
it's
talking
like,
about
you
that.
know, the kind of, well, for her, I don't know if she told the whole internet, but like there is that level of respect where it's just like, oh, I'm not going to go around and like, it should be like a private thing. Like, hey, please don't do that to my soap, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like recognizing the fact that he like went to his mom and then to his sister and both of them are all like, you can't treat him that way, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I'm all like, oh man, do you want that your whole marriage if they like
Yeah.
get married? I'm like, he has to deal with his own problems
Yeah.
and not have his mom and sister defend him.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I left boo-boo chunks on something, like a towel or something, that like, I wouldn't be going sharing that with everybody.
No.
It's like, hey, if my wife knows about it, that's good enough. Nobody else needs to know about this.
You do have boo-boo
Here-
on your
Here's a little comment here. Since he brought his family into it, then there's no reason why you can't be absolutely, truly honest. The problem isn't that he uses a bar of soap, so it begins his bare body. I don't know what that means. Sorry. It's the fact that he uses the bar of soap directly on his poo-poo or on his butt and then cleans off diarrhea, which is that is weird. And then he left chunks of his poo on the bar of soap. That is the issue. Not the fact of his feelings, I guess. Now tell that to his mom and sister. So that's also weird. Since they wanted to comfort you about his hurt feelings, confront you about his hurt feelings. And just so you know, not only is he disgusting, leaving poop on a bar of soap, but he's immature and runs to his mommy and his sissy to cry about his hurt feelings. Those 2 points are very unattractive as in a man. And I definitely couldn't see myself being with someone like that long term. I'd smear Nutella on a bar of soap and then tell his mother and sister to go wash their face with it, then come back to me. Also, Opie could send the family a basket of brown-colored soaps for every single
Oh my
event going forward.
gosh. Oh man. I could
Uh,
just imagine someone making like a joke cake of this. Like a
dude,
bar
I
of soap and then like some boo-boo chunks on it. Oh, that'd be so gross.
That's really funny. Do they actually sell poo-shaped soaps as well?
Oh, I'm sure they do. That's what everyone's getting for Christmas. Poo-poo soap. Well, and I don't know, like, I don't want to say like some men need to be like educated on what they should be doing. But like as a wife, you kind of like come in and you're like, I see this habit that you have. No more.
Yeah.
Like she could have just been like, here's a loofah or here's a washcloth or whatever and help him out.
Yeah.
But it's hard to come back from boo-boo chunks.
Yeah. Okay. So this person does have a good point. It's like my dad told me decades ago that some scientists put a bar of soap in a public restroom to see how much bacteria would be on it after who knows what. Or who knows how many random people used it. And the results were that there was no bacteria on it at the end of the test. The main issue is that he left poop particles on the soap. And that and the fact that he went to his boo-hooing. Oh, he went boo-hooing to his mommy.
Yeah.
That was the issue. And so, yeah, okay. I do get that. And it's just like, it is not unhygienic. So first of all, this thing is about hygiene. It wasn't unhygienic. It was just gross.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So like,
It's hard to come back from.
yeah.
Just thinking about it, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. All she did, let's break it down, just like summarize this thing. All she did was see the problem, the poo-poo. Then she complained about it and was like, that's disgusting. And then she gathered up all the soap and threw it away.
Yeah.
Everything else in the story was on him. So like he caused the issue in the first place, and then he got really embarrassed about it, which I get that. And I don't know.
Oh yeah,
how
it would be embarrassing.
I don't know how she like said it. Like you're
She
a
was probably
disgusting human being. Like,
She was probably
yeah.
was just all like, "You left freaking boo-boo chunks on the soap,"
yeah.
and
Which-
then he just went,
Yeah.
well, because it sounded like, because then he said, "Oh, sorry, I must not have rinsed it off right," and then she was
Yeah.
probably like, "What?" you know, and then it was just like,
yeah. So
and then I could see how it would be hard
yeah.
getting like embarrassed because you're not technically doing something as
Mhm.
what she like expected he was doing, which could
Yeah.
be jarring for her.
Yeah.
And then he gets embarrassed. And
Okay, so brief thing. So the way that a wife confronts a husband
Mhm.
is the whole deal. So I've done very gross things, and you've had to get used to me in the way that I live. And then sometimes you have confronted me over certain things, and that's okay. I'm absolutely okay with that. But the way that you confront me is usually very nice. You make it funny. Yeah, like poop. And then so I'm like laughing. I'm like, oh, this is a little embarrassing, but it's also really funny. I'm so sorry. I won't do that again.
You're all like, I'm going to shrivel up and die now. Thank you for bringing this to my
But
attention.
if you had like demeaned me and been like, you are a filthy person, I hate you and you disgust me. Well, that would make me like legitimately like want to curl up and die. So I get him. He's just like, hey, I'm really embarrassed. And now he made the problem worse for himself by bringing in other people. Like, why spread the embarrassment?
Yeah.
But that being said, I kind of get him. Maybe she could have approached it a little bit different.
Yeah.
To be like, by the way, this is blowing my mind that you did this.
Yeah.
And then she could have made it sound like funny, you know,
Yeah.
and be like, this is so funny. By the way, I'm going to throw away all the soap because I literally can't use any of that anymore.
Yeah. Lighten it. Because
Yeah.
to her, she's like, this is traumatizing and horrifying. I need to go throw away all the bars of soap. And then, she could have like made it funny. And then he would have been like, oh, haha, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's probably, or she could be like, you know what? I got you a blue soap. This is your soap.
This is your soap.
See the pink one?
And this is
my
your
soap.
loofah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, remember, he won't use those.
Well, I don't think it says he won't. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if,
I don't know.
maybe if she was just all like, oh, I got you this special soap that's already in a washcloth
there you
pouch.
go. Then
Here
can-
you go. This one's yours. We're not sharing soap anymore.
Yeah. So
To make me feel better.
Yeah. Just like, if you don't approve of my toweling off methods, well, we have separate towels, and this is my towel and this is your towel.
Yeah.
Never the twain shall meet. So yeah, I think it's all in how you approach someone. You know, here's bottom line. Take people's feelings into consideration in the way that you converse with them.
Yeah.
If you need them to do something, like, hey, take care, be watchful for their feelings. That'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm
Even if
disgusted
it's
by you.
horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
It's
you-
funny. I was hearing from someone who was talking to therapists, and they were like, never show surprise at anything you hear. It's like if they tell you that they
The most
do the most
horrifying thing.
yeah, and then you just like just act like you've seen it 1,000 times before, and you've seen even more extreme than that. And it's true. It's just like, hey, you see something weird that your husband or wife does. It's just like, just be like, oh wow, oh yeah, interesting. No, why do you do that?
You're never gonna do this ever again.
So anyway,
No,
well,
this kind of reminds me of the I don't know if I ever showed you like a clip of, there's this scene in New Girl where Nick and Schmidt, I think is his name. Anyways, so like those two guys have been sharing the same towel this entire time and they had no idea.
bruh.
And then he's just all like, ow. He's just all like, you've been using my towel. And then he's just all like, yours is the red one. He's just all like, no, I haven't. He's like, I haven't touched that towel. He's like, wait, you've never like washed the other towel? And so he's just like horrified. And then Nick is just all like, wash a towel. The towel washes me. And he's like, oh. no. That part like cracked me up because like, you know, Zooey Deschanel's character is like holding the towel that no one has been using. She's just like, oh, it's so warm and nice and smells so clean. And he's just like horrified at, and Schmidt's like horrified at like the fact that he's been
using his towel.
He's been sharing the towel because Nick's kind of the more like grungy one. And so it's so funny. He's like, wash a towel. The towel washes me.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, no.
Right.
Anyways.
Well, you know what the Bible has to say about hygiene? Like, read in the Old Testament, God cared about hygiene.
Yeah.
The way when he was leading the children of Israel through the desert, he was just like, he gave them very simple stuff. It's just like, hey, talk about dealing with people who don't know how to take care of themselves. He's just like, when you go potty, you go outside the camp and you bury it. That's what God's like, you know. Yeah, he's like outside the camp, and he says like, don't bring it inside the camp. You'll defile the camp. He says like, that's unclean to me, and it's an abomination, so don't do it. And so, yeah.
Well, it is interesting because like, hygiene was always in the Bible, and like you think about all the historic times where like hygiene wasn't really a thing, but I think about all the Christians who probably were hygienic because of what the Bible said.
Yeah. Did you know in the Black Plague, it was it was a disease carried by fleas that were on rats, you know, and that's how the Black Plague spread. But anyway, the one population that was least affected in the Black Plague were the Jews because of their hygiene stuff that they get from the Old Testament. And this is in the you know, in the Dark Ages or Middle Ages or whatever. And so like think like germs and hygiene was not even a consideration in most people's mind, but they were following the prescriptions of the Old Testament. They're like, oh, this is what we do. And then so they were not affected hardly at all. And people actually thought that the Jews were at fault for starting the Black Plague and spreading it because they were the only ones that weren't affected. They're like, hey, everybody's sick, but these guys, why are
you guys not
and then so
sick?
they thought they were trying to poison the world or whatever.
Yeah, but really they were washing themselves.
Yeah. And there was actually, if you read one of the ingredients in the Old Testament for one of the prescriptions, like God was like, do this and this and this. It was like rendered animal fat and yada, a couple different ingredients. And they were like, if you were to make this today, it would basically be soap. I was like, that's so cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, before mankind even knew about any of that. That's how brilliant it is.
Yeah, before we had microscopes and everything.
I know. Yeah, God's just like, you know what you need?
Soap.
And
that's amazing.
He gave that to people 4,000 years ago. It's crazy. Yeah. So hope you've enjoyed this.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Please let us know in the comments your thoughts on hygiene, what's dirty and what's not.
Yes. We need to settle this argument here.
All right. Bye.